If we understand the habits, how they work, you can have them work for you. And that works also with anger. You can program, install in your own behavior some automatic response instead of the usual response. But for us to do that, I go back to the beginning. We have to know when that happens and why, because otherwise we will not react the way we want to. It's because the thing is, it's not about not reacting the way we react. It's about reacting in a different way. Once that settles in, it becomes a lot easier. For that, you have to find out when. That was the first part. Now, second part about anger. When do you think, or why do you think you need to control anger? Why do you think that you get mad at little things? Okay, now we have to dig in. What makes it frustrating? Where is the frustration coming from? See, this is tricky. It takes at the beginning, it's a bit complex, but then it becomes very easy. It's like when we think, I want to, in general, we can't deal with general stuff. We have to pinpoint. We have to say, okay, this. I always tell my clients, it's like, how do you eat an elephant? You can't eat it all at once. You have to cut it down, small chunks, small bites. And with anger, with abuse, with everything, the same thing applies. It's like, I get mad at everything. Okay, cool. Give me some examples. See, right there, you have the answer to that question. It's okay, now, what can you do? You cannot avoid. It's something you cannot avoid, but it's something that you can transform. So that means when something like that happens and you notice that, you become aware of that, move physically, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally. Whatever of these four options is available, use it. It's like when you notice, I'm starting to go get a glass of water, go for a walk, do some push-ups, open a book, look at your phone, do something else, because then you'll distract your attention from what is happening here to something else. It's the easiest way to avoid it because you take advantage of it. Because imagine, what if I told you, don't think about a pink panther. First thing you think is a pink panther. So we can't say don't think about it because you will end up thinking about it. But what we can do is do something else. I used to be a combatant diver and a rescue swimmer. When you jump into a river that has a dragging current, you don't swim against the current. You take advantage of the current to swim to the side, to get out of the current. And the same thing happens when we want to stop or change something. We have to take advantage of what we're doing to do something else. Then with your get angry at everything, we pinpoint it. And then we start breaking it down. Why am I getting angry at this? Why do I feel frustrated? Where is the origin? And the first thing is, since I cannot avoid the origin, depending on the origin, but what I can do is I can change the way I respond or I react to it. Easiest example is, what do you think would be easier? If you're used to hit people, to punch people, what do you think would be easier? To not hitting them, to stop hitting them, or just to mark it, just to go halfway? Halfway is easier. Or instead of punching them in the face, slapping their face. It's harm reduction, and it's transforming the negative result. And it doesn't take you that much energy, and it doesn't take much time. But it takes some disciplining at the beginning because you have to be aware of it, and you have to take care, and you have to watch out. Yes, and you have to practice. Nobody will take that away. What makes you feel frustrated? Now, we change around. When things don't go a certain way, that means that when things don't meet your expectations. Okay, who is responsible for the expectations? Okay, so that means even though if things still don't go that way, if you change your expectations, you will automatically have changed your frustration. And that means you will increase your resistance to frustration. When our expectation level is very high, it's extremely hard for things to meet our expectations. When things meet our expectations, it takes out the joy of it, because since you already expected it to happen, you're not that happy anymore. If you lower your expectations, if it becomes true, you'll still be joyful because you didn't really expect it to happen. So it's like a pleasant surprise. And if it doesn't meet the expectations, you won't be pissed off that much because the expectation wasn't that high. It doesn't mean that you have to settle for less. You don't have to settle for less. It's just expect less. It's like when we say we work for peace, but we train for war. If war doesn't happen, then we're happy. But if I didn't train for war, and if I expected peace to last forever, then I'm screwed. Definitely. So and for me, expectation management was one of the best exercises and what really helped me a lot. Sometimes it's either because I expected too much from other people, or from things, or from myself. Like I expected, yeah, when I buy this new car, I'll be king of the road. I'll be extremely happy also with a new motorcycle. Yeah, but you know what? After flipping the key after 4 weeks, yeah, that it was gone. Now, with my other bike, it's an old bike. Bought it used, 20 years old. I have it for a couple of years now already, and I still enjoy it just like the first freaking day. Because my expectations were, I didn't have that much, I didn't have those high expectations. And now that motorcycle, every time I go for a ride, it always surpasses my expectations. Because my expectations, since my expectations are controlled, are low, if I have a little bit of fun, I have a lot of fun. If I pretend, or my expectation is to have extremely lots of fun, and I don't have it, then I'm sad because it didn't meet the expectation. That is, you can apply that as well to most of your situations, life, work, family. Imagine what happens when your kids, when you put your very high expectations on your kids and they fail. What happens if they don't fail, if they meet your expectations? What happens if they go beyond your expectations? Now imagine, just by adjusting, you don't have to change anything. Just by adjusting a little bit your expectations, you can lower your anger and you can increase your joy. So what do you prefer, being more angry or being more grateful and joyful? See how easy, if the moment it's not lowering just because of lowering, it's really becoming aware that your expectations sometimes are enemy. And if we lower them, if we just don't expect it, and if something good happens, we will be even more grateful and more joyful. And if something bad happens, we won't be that angry because we didn't expect nothing else to happen. There is a saying, this serenity prayer. I'm not sure if you know it. They use it a lot in AA the first time. It's an old Roman saying that they switched a little bit around. I'm not sure. Are you a very religious person? Okay, cool. No, it's just asking because if you'd said, yes, I'm extremely faithful religious person, I say, okay, fine. Now it's God. It can be God, life, whatever, or whoever, higher power. I don't care how you call it. It's grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. And that is something that has to do with our expectations. The power, the strength and the power to change what's in my hands or in my power, and the wisdom to know the difference. Most of the frustration that we have in life is because we spend effort in places where we can't change shit. If we know when to apply and when not to apply, you live a fulfilled life. That's the secret. If you find out why something frustrates you, take its power away. Find out why is it frustrating. For example, I think it's frustrating if I don't get grade A's in my master's. Okay. What do I have to do to get the grade A? Am I capable? If yes, then I have to work harder. And if I'm not capable, then I have to readjust my expectations. Oh, cool. I'll settle for a B and I'll be as happy as I can be. It is with that expectation management. Think how that makes you feel. That's another exercise for next week, is try to see how can you module, how can you lower or readjust, let's say readjust your expectations. When our expectations are unrealistic, when they're very high and it's unrealistic, we are doomed to frustration. Would you be frustrated if you spent $1 and you didn't win the lottery? No, because you don't count on it, because you don't expect to win the lottery. How would it make you feel if you won the lottery? And that's also because of the expectations. When you don't expect something to happen and it happens, and it's something good, it's extremely great. It's extremely fulfilling. And if you're not expecting something to be good and it doesn't happen, you're not sad because you didn't expect it to happen.